Hello, what we're going to be going through in this video is lesson 1.6 from app development with Swift. It covers the building, running, and debugging an app. This video will focus on debugging an app. The video is part of a lecture that was recorded in spring of 2019.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about next is how you can go in and actually debug an application using Xcode. So anybody tell me what a warning is?
Informational message.
Yeah, it's an informational message. Does your program run when you get a warning?
It can.
Yeah, most times if you have warnings, your program will actually run. Some examples of warnings are writing code that never gets executed. It'll come up with a warning. Creating a variable, especially in Swift, creating a variable that never changes. So if you create a var and it never changes in your code, you'll actually get a warning because it has not been that value has not been updated. Yeah, and then using code that is out of date. So you'll get warnings like we were just talking about. If something was deprecated, it'll come back with that warning. A lot of times it'll provide a fix for you to go ahead and use the current API that you should be using in place of what you're currently using. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to maximize my app. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my ViewController. So I will just go ahead and click on that. Oh, wow, I did change my settings. I didn't think I did. Let me go back into Xcode, update my preferences. Yes, I did. Back to basic. Okay, so what we want to do is right below the super.ViewDidLoad, under our ViewDidLoad function, we're just going to go ahead and type in let x equals 4. And then after we go ahead and actually type that in, then right away it'll come up with that warning letting us know that we have not used that constant yet in our actual code. So it's kind of a pain because once you declare a variable and you haven't used it, you're going to continually see that warning until you actually use it in your code. So yeah, all we did was we just under ViewDidLoad just typed in let x equals 4, and that warning will come up and show up for us. So anybody know what a compiler is?
That's what changes your source code into an executable code. You're talking about compiler, right?
The compile error.
Oh, compile error. Oh, that's where, if you wrote the wrong.
Yeah, use the incorrect syntax. Does your program run if you have a compile error? No, it doesn't build and run. So that's what we're going to do next. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that let x equals 4 code. And we're going to go ahead and create a couple compile errors. So the first thing we're going to do is in our super.ViewDidLoad, we're just going to eliminate the parentheses. So basically what we're just calling a ViewDidLoad method. So what I want to do is I just want to delete the parentheses, and I should have a compile error now. Expression resolves to an unused function. And I'm going to create one more compile error. So on the next line, what I'm going to type is navigation controller. The really nice thing about Swift is it has a really good IntelliSense feature in it. So once you start typing something, you can actually go in and select it. So what I want to do is I just want to select navigation controller. And then I want to specify .title. And I want to go ahead and set that to debugging. So once you've done that, you can kind of see the two different types of compile errors that are actually in Xcode. The first one, it does not have a solution for you. So it has an exclamation point. The second one does have a solution for you. So you can go ahead and click on the little stop sign with the white in the middle. And what that'll do is that'll go ahead and provide you with the fixes for this code. And we're going to be talking about optionals and force unwrapping in a future lesson. So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to generate a couple compile errors so you could see exactly what those compile errors look like. So I'm not going to fix that, but what we're going to do before we go ahead and actually in this program, we're going to go ahead and create a screenshot. So this is one of the actual assignments that you need to do is you need to go ahead and take a screenshot of a compile error. So anybody know how to take a screenshot on a Mac? Shift Command 4. I have to look that up all the time. So it's Shift Command and 4. And then what you get is you get this little, I don't know, what is it, a little site. And then you can just left click on the site and you can go ahead and select the area that you want in your screenshot. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all of the area. And then once you let it go, you should hear a little picture has been taken. And then if I go ahead and look, I've seen my screenshots always. Do yours go to the desktop? Do you know, is that common practice? I know mine always appear on the desktop after I take my screenshots.
We have to get every word on that line.
No, you don't have to, as long as you can take a screenshot and kind of show, show that you're able to do that. What a compile error actually is, that is good enough for me. So what you can do before you leave tonight is you can just go out in the Canvas and actually upload that screenshot into Canvas as that homework assignment. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to talk about the third type of issue that you may run into within your code. I'll go ahead and give you guys a couple minutes if you want to go ahead and upload that picture. That way, so we're going to take a screenshot of that. But if you already have an app that you can screenshot. Did you find your picture?
I've got it. Well, I went into the desktop. I went out of this.
Check that down. Oh, just knock out the screen up there. Yeah. 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 Okay, so the third type of issue is known as a bug, or anybody heard of runtime errors before, where the program actually compiles, but in the process of running, either there's something wrong with your logic in the code, it doesn't run correctly, or an exception or something gets thrown. Yeah. So it's the hardest issue to track down. So basically you have to start wading through your code to find out exactly what's wrong with it. It occurs while running the program, and it'll crash or provide incorrect output for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our ViewDidLoad method, and I'm going to delete the line, the second line that threw the compile error. So I'll just go ahead and delete that line. And then I'm going to add the parentheses back into my ViewDidLoad method, so the compile error does not show up. You want to go into the ViewController. No, over to the left. Yep. So yeah, the actual Swift files. Just go ahead. Just go ahead and put that mouse down. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a bug in our code. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and type in var and then names equal. And what we're going to do, we'll type in Tammy.
That's square bracket.
Yeah, that's square brackets. Let me see. Preferences. There we go. We got some big fonts now. What happened? Wow. I don't want that.
Give you a warning.
No, the fonts got all messed up when I changed it. I got like a bunch of different. Wow.
Only change one set of text type.
And I can't undo that.
Go back to your preferences. Select everything.
Oh, okay. And then change the font that way. Okay.
I'm going to change the plain text. No, on your dialog window, select everything in the dialog window. Plain text. Content.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. On all of that.
Then you change it to whatever size you want.
Okay. I just want to make it a little bigger so you guys can see it. So is that a little better? Yeah, okay. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go in, set var names equal, and what we're doing is we're creating a list or an array, but we will talk about that a little bit later on in the class. What we want to do is we just want to go ahead and get an error thrown. And then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and type in names. And then what we want to do is we want to select remove first. And we want to go ahead and call that function 3 times, the same line of code. So I'm just going to do a command C and a command V and a command V. So basically what we're gonna throw an error where we have an array. We're gonna remove the first entry in the array, which is Tammy. We're gonna remove the second entry in the array, which is Cole. And then we're gonna try to remove the next item in the array, but there will not be an item to remove. So after we've added that code, we're just gonna go ahead and actually run our app. And it compiles fine for us, so our build succeeded. But it comes back and it pukes on us. Fatal error, can't remove first element from an empty collection. So that's our error. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and kind of walk through the debugging tool that's available in Xcode. So in order to debug this error, since we only have 4 lines of code, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a breakpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my running getting started on iPhone 8. And what I want to do, over to the left of our var names equals Tammy and Cole, I want to go ahead and click on that to add a breakpoint. So what I want to do is I just want to add a breakpoint to that line of code so we can go ahead and debug the error message that we're seeing. Did you have some issues with your code there, Pam?
No, I'm trying to understand. I'm just trying to keep track of what you're doing.
Oh,
Does it
okay.
like something?
Oh, you need a double quote on the back of code,
Oh,
and then delete the,
that's in my code.
yeah, there we go. Yep. So then what you want to do next is over to the left of line 15.
Okay.
To the left of the 15. Yeah, just that's the way you insert a breakpoint then.
Oh,
Yeah, if you click on the margin to the left of the code, we'll insert a breakpoint. So what we're going to do is we're going to rerun our app. So I'll just go ahead and click on my build and then run current scheme. And after we've run it, basically what'll happen is since we entered a breakpoint at line 15, it'll go ahead and stop the running of the app at that point. So now we can kind of walk through the app using our debugging tool down below. And if you go ahead and look in the screen down below, basically it'll go ahead and specify what each of the variables are set to when you go ahead and actually run it. Having issues on that?
I don't know where I forgot where you were actually running that, where you click on.
Oh, it's the over in the top left-hand corner.
Right, the little arrow thing?
Yeah,
I clicked on it and it told me stop getting started.
Oh, okay, so just go ahead and click on the stop button. Basically, you had an instance running, so.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you ever see that message, just click on stop, and what it'll do, it'll stop it from running.
Which version code are you running at?
This is 10.1.
Okay, I'm using 10.2 and mine comes up different.
Oh, okay, so that's a change right there.
Doesn't even show the source code on my screen.
Huh, interesting.
It shows the thread and It's like some sort of dump.
Okay. I'll stop it. Yeah, just stop it. Okay, and then yeah, let's go ahead and rerun it again. Huh. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do next, in order to debug the error, in the lower left-hand corner, there's a little step over command. So basically what it is, it's a little arrow that goes up and down and then a dash. So it's right down here. What we want to do is we want to go ahead and click on step over. And what happens is it goes ahead and advances to the next, to our next item. Let me see. Click on ViewController. Here we go. Right there. So what we can see down below is we've gone through, we've created two names, Tammy and Cole, down in our lower left-hand corner. So what we can do is we can go ahead and click on the step over button again. And what that'll do, it called our first remove first. So Tammy was removed from our string of names. We'll go ahead and array of names. We'll click on step over again. Cole was removed, so now we have an empty array of strings. And if we go ahead and click on the next button, then that's when the actual error gets thrown. So that kind of shows us that we should remove this names dot remove first, so the error will not occur. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that third names dot remove first and rerun my ViewController, rerun my application in my simulator, and it should run now again. Oh, I still have my breakpoints in there. So I'll just step through those, step through, step through. Now I got the screen that you saw. So let me just stop here. I want to delete the breakpoint. So you can just go ahead and right click on it and select delete so the breakpoint isn't there, so it doesn't quit stopping there. So I'll just go ahead and click on build succeeded. Okay, so the app did run that last time. It came up with my blue screen.